Kate, one more problem. Rotate the screen.
Okay, but we want to keep ours horizontal.
Okay, we're here. Technical difficulties today.
Screen orientation cannot be rotated after broadcast has begun. So if we turn it, you're going to be small.
All right.
But if we
I don't
restart
care.
it, we
Turn
can
it.
keep it. Okay.
Okay. Hey.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, if you're here, say hi. Sorry for the confusion, but of course there is a phone update, which means that we have to log in all over again, and that's always an issue. Barbara, hello. Yeah. You cannot hear me. Can anybody else hear me? Hi, Shelley. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Sally. Let me know if you can or can't hear me. Because one person, Amanda, said she can't hear me. Let's turn this up. I got mine on.
Shelly can hear.
Shelley can hear. Okay. Okay. Amanda, put your ear things in and turn your volume up. Okay, great. Hello. Thanks for hanging in there, you guys. You know, it's always something. Most of the time, nothing. But today, we started out on a rocky thing. But here we are. I'm Linda Daniels. This is Lunch with Linda, and you are now inside Northampton Walls. So welcome to all of you. It's kind of a gray, wet day out there and cold, so we're happy to be inside. If you follow us on Instagram and you saw the reel that Kate did, yesterday we did a big inventory day. We're not quite finished, but we're close. And so I want to send a great big heartfelt thank you to the volunteers that did come and help us out yesterday. It meant a lot to me, and we really did come close. We still have some work to do, but we should be able to get very close to being completely done by the end of today. And what I wanted to talk a little bit about why we do it and what it means. And of course, the most obvious reason is that we need to do it for tax purposes. The government needs to know how much we have here in the store. Bonnie, believe me, we missed you. I almost sent you a plane ticket and said, let's send Bonnie up. I just shoveled in some lunch, so it's still in my mouth. Anyway, yeah, Bonnie, we really, really missed you. But the shop is looking really good with everything that we're able to count upstairs. Surprisingly, there's still the back wall left to do, and Kate just told me that's a total of about 26 different yarns. Woo, you're kidding. Well, it's mainly yarns that there are small amounts of, so it really will not take forever to count. The one big remaining one is the merino, Plymouth Select merino in the worsted weight. We've got a lot of that. So we do inventory mainly for tax purposes, but we do it for several other reasons too. And one of them is that it gives me an idea of what yarns have sold really well. What are we much lower on than I actually thought we were? What was the most popular? And then within that yarn, what colors did people really like? So I begin to have a better idea, not just seeing and helping all of you choose yarns, but I begin to actually have something on paper that lets me know exactly what people are interested in knitting with. And that helps me make better choices or more choices when I'm out there looking at new yarns. This is also our change of season. We are beginning to get calls for appointments from the sales rep who are ready and willing and able to show us all of the spring and summer yarns. Hi, Penny. And I can't wait. I have my first appointment on Wednesday morning, and we'll see what kinds of new things that are coming. Because we're looking at new yarns, we need space to put them. And if you don't believe me, I will tell you a little secret. We actually have a big box downstairs of cotton that I've already ordered from Plymouth Yarn that I have not even been able to put out yet because we just don't have a space to put it. So the inventory helps us figure out what yarns are going to go on sale, what yarns we want to keep, and what yarns you guys really like. So we do the inventory for all of those reasons. The other main reason is because finally we have a chance during this time of year to balance the POS system with the reality of what's on the shelf. Things get misplaced, things get sold. If you've ever been here and heard our POS system go bleh instead of ping, that means that something wasn't completely right, or maybe it didn't get listed correctly, or the POS system isn't reading the barcode. So this couple of days really gives us a chance to get everything in line so that everything is balanced between the POS system and what's really on the shelves, what we really have on the website, so that you don't place an order and we get to call you and say, you know what, I know it said we had it, but we really don't. So hopefully in the next week, all of that will be done, because not only now are we counting everything, but now I spent the morning putting those numbers into the POS system. So fortunately, a lot of stuff I just had to check, but some stuff I did have to change. Some of it in the POS system said that we had more than the actual counting said, but there was also some cases where it was the other way around. We actually had more than what the POS system had. Don't ask me how it happens. I don't know. I'm just so glad that we know how to fix it, and we're still learning stuff about it all the time. So that leads me to the other thing that I wanted to talk about, and that's the clearance sale. And to kind of talk to you guys about why do we have our semi-annual clearance sale twice a year. We do it in January and we do it in July. And that big reason is, like I just said, we need room for the change of season things. We've got new yarns coming in. We've got new yarns that I want to be able to offer you that I think you'll be excited about. And the clearance sale helps us in several different ways. Because we put things on clearance for a couple of different reasons. First of all, the most obvious one is if the supplier, the manufacturer, decides to discontinue the yarn, we can't get it anymore. And if that's the case, then when we get to a certain level of inventory, it just needs to find a new home, because we can't continue to supply it. And you don't want to buy a yarn that you think is going to be on the shelf and then fall in love with it and decide you want to do even more with it and find out that you can't get it. So yarns that have been discontinued by the manufacturer are the first things that we put on sale. Then we also put things on sale that come from companies, we call them in and outs. So they're specialty kinds of yarns that a manufacturer decides they're going to offer for a season or two, and then that's it. That is it. It's like a one-time shot. And we don't do a lot of that kind of yarn, but inevitably there's one or two that slip by and I find out later that they're a one-time deal. There's some trendsetter yarns that are like that, particularly, especially their hand dyes. They will hand dye particular colors for a season, and then that's it. They do a certain amount and you can't get any more. So once they have been through a season and you've all knit with them or fallen in love with them and done what you were going to do with them, then we can say, all right, we don't have room for these guys anymore, and we can offer those to you at a discount. And then the last thing is that the yarns that have been here for a while, they've done their work. You've all had a chance to see them. Many of you have chosen to knit with them, and hopefully you've all loved them. But they've been here for quite a while, and we like to keep things fresh for you. It's always fun to see new things. We don't all want to have like 4 sweaters in the same yarn. We want to be able to offer you new things to knit, new colors, new yarn configurations, new weights. And so the things that have been here for usually it's over a year or two, then we decide that it's time for them to leave us and find new homes. And Kate and I, several times over the last couple of days, even this morning, Kate said, I hate to do this because I know some of these yarns are going to be walking out the door and not going to be on the shelf again. And I'm trying to convince her that she doesn't really need to fill up an entire bag full of yarn.
It's so hard to see the colors I like.
It's so hard. And it's even hard for me. Yesterday when I was downstairs counting a lot of the back stock, I was like, oh, I should.
Yeah,
I didn't get to knit with this. I want a sweater in this. And having to make that decision.
But
so
if it happens every year, we're going to be just as excited about what's next.
Exactly. That's what we have to keep telling ourselves, that maybe you have to say goodbye to something, but in the long run, you're going to be just as happy with what comes in new and exciting. And we're beginning to start that process for the spring and the summer. But that doesn't mean that there isn't time to knit something right now. This is definitely the clearance sale for the chunky weights, the super bulkies and the bulky weights. Amanda was here yesterday and she couldn't believe how much yarn there is in this place that has to be counted one by one. So thanks, Amanda, for coming in. But like I said, it's definitely the year for the chunky weights. We've got the Ushia on sale. We've got the Silo on sale. Both of those are super bulkies and selling really, really well. A lot of 1-2 skein kind of projects that you might think about. And just this morning, I realized that the next big chunky yarn that needs to go on sale is the puffin from Quince and Company. That is the 100% American wool. It is not a superwash. So it was normally $20 and we're taking it 50% off for the clearance sale. It's now going to be $10 a skein. So it is a beautiful single ply in that super bulky weight. They're saying that you can knit this at 3 stitches to an inch on a 10.5, but believe me, if you do that, only do that if you want something, like if you're making mittens and you want them to be windproof, because that's going to make a really hard fabric almost windproof. It's much better on a 13 or a 15. And right above my head, that orange sweater, way back there in the corner, I knit that as the model when we first got the puffin in. And that's on a size 13 and 15 needle. And at that gauge, the yarn actually has some softness, some pliability to it. I wouldn't call it drape because it's still a super bulky, but this one is, like I said, a single ply. And although when you look at it in the skein, it may not seem like a super bulky, the single plies are yarns that have a lot of loft. And when you knit them, especially on the bigger needle, you give that stitch or that yarn air space around it to do what we call full. The air just goes in there and makes it expand, and that's what creates a really soft fiber. So I didn't bring the inventory over with me. I think there's only 2 or 3 colors that we have sweater quantity in, but a lot of the other colors that we have are suitable for 1 and 2 skein projects that I'm going to show you in a minute. But I want to show you some of the colors. Look at those two together. That really dark teal and that kind of aqua. And then there are some very soft tones. This is kind of a steely gray with that pink-ish. Oh no, it's kind of a dirty pinkish peachy. And then we have the hot pink. This isn't all of them, right?
No.
And this kind of orangey color. No, we've got more colors, but I just asked Kate to bring over a few of them just so you could see the yarn in person and the kind of colors. And then I just took a quick look this morning at Ravelry, and if you go to Ravelry, and up in this pattern search bar under knitting, I put Quince and Company puffin. There were 7 pages of patterns.
Whoa.
7 pages of patterns and a lot of hats. But one of the things that I found that I absolutely loved, and I'm just gonna have to take some puffin, are these socks. Look at those socks.
Oh, cute.
if you can see it.
Got a little color work
So
on the top.
yes, a tiny bit of color work, which you can eliminate. It takes 2 skeins to make that pair of socks. So they did 2 of the main color and 1 of the contrast color. And if you didn't want to put the contrast color in there, you could make that absolutely delicious, big, thick, almost like slippers. You could probably get slipper bottoms to put on those. But what cozy stay-at-home socks those are. And those are done on size 15 needles. Now, I can see right at the bottom of the pattern page that they wrote this either for double pointed size 15s or 2 circular 15s to knit in the round. So that's a really fun, different way to use a bulky weight or super bulky weight yarn. And then the other pattern that I thought is this dot hat. This probably won't show up that well, but this is actually 2 colors. If you can see, because they didn't use high contrast colors, there's a tiny little dot of pink in that darker gray. So this hat takes 2 skeins, 1 of each color, but you probably have enough to make 2 hats if you reverse the color work. But then the designer is Dawn Catanzaro, and she also wrote a pair of mitten pattern in the same pattern. So what a cute little set that would make. And the mitten pattern is sized from children up to adults. And the mittens are done on 10.5. Like I said, if you wanted a really solid pair of mittens that are really super warm, snowproof, waterproof, and windproof, work on the size 10.5. So that's another yarn. And as I go through inventory, we're going to be adding things to the sale. The other yarn that I wanted to feature today is the Wink. This is also from Quince & Company, and this is 100% cotton. We've had this in for a while. It was one of the yarns that I knit one of my free patterns out of. I did a yarn over pattern for just a little summer top in purple. That pattern is still free on our website. We have only the off-white and the white left. And this was $25 a skein. It's now down to $10 a skein. I've got 5 skeins of the off-white. That's this one. I can't look. I can't look at the screen. That's this one. I've got 5 skeins of the off-white. I think you only needed 3 to do that top. And I've got 6 skeins of the pure white. Again, you only needed 3 to do that top. So if you are interested in doing a quick knit for the summer, something lacy, this stuff makes a great shawl as well, then think about doing the Wink, because this now is more than 75% off. And we've got 1 lonely skein of the orange. I don't know, I guess you could do a little, like a little bandana cowl or a little head scarf. You could do the Sophie scarf in it. Yeah, that would be great. So that's now down to $10. So I think I finished that thought. As I do the inventory and evaluate yarns like this, I'm going to be making judgments so that we can have some room to put some of the new stuff up and get that stuff out as soon as possible as we move through. So we've got a few more weeks to go on the sale. So you do, however, not want to wait too long because things go. Last week, I showed you the reserve fingering. Do we still have that last skein of pink, or is that gone? We sold it out almost immediately. We might have 1 skein of pink floating around, I seem to remember, but I think it's gone. So don't wait. If you see something, I was so afraid with the way the comments and the orders came in that I was going to miss somebody's order on that stuff. But things like that sell right out. Kuzo too, almost gone with that great bandana cowl. It's gone. Okay. So don't wait. All right, let's see. Okay, I just wanted to also say that sweater pattern back there is called Miquelon. Miquelon. And I didn't write down the designer name, sorry. But it's under on one of those 7 pages of patterns by Quince and Company. I couldn't print out this other one, but this hat, very simple ribbed hat pattern called Keaton, Keaton, by Shannon Cook. That was also just done with the puffin. All right, so we got one new thing in that I wanted to show you, and then I'm going to talk about what those dreaded machines are. That's a quick flash. Some of you know the Likey or Licky needles. They're made with driftwood. They're hardwood. We get those from Euro Yarns, and they have come out with some shawl pins in some really beautiful shapes. They use 2 kinds of wood. They used rosewood or mango. So we got these shapes in. This is an example of what the rosewood looks like. It's a deeper color, and they are shapes with a pin to use with your shawl pins or on your shawls. These are $18.75 a piece. Each shape comes in either rosewood or mango. We have them both. I didn't bring them all over. But then there is this one, which is called the teardrop shape. This is what the mango looks like. It's a grayer or browner wood, if you will. But the teardrop, and then it has a fancy stick at the top of it. And then there's the rectangle or square, they're calling it. This is also the mango. And then we got to a couple of really fun shapes. This is the cat in mango. We also have these all in rosewood. And then the sheep in the mango as well. And again, we have them in the rosewood if you like the darker wood. So we got 3 of each shape in each type of wood. So again, that's a limited supply, so don't wait too long if you find those really appealing, because we hopefully will be able to get more, but you just never ever know. The one other thing that I wanted to say before I tell you how to make a pom-pom is that I put up a post on Instagram and Facebook. Mary Witt was in with the skirt that she had knit herself out of Rasta. And a couple of people asked about the pattern. There isn't a pattern. Mary comes in and chooses a yarn, and then we work from there. I have her do a gauge. We take measurements. We decide how she wants it to fit, and then she starts knitting. I would love to do that class. I did a skirt class like that a couple of years ago. I think that was even way before COVID hit. Long time ago. And I would love to do it again. So I think we've gotten enough of a response. I am going to work on scheduling that. It is really fun. Now, over and over and over again, people say, oh, I can't wear a skirt. I can't wear a knit skirt. I can't wear a knit skirt. You can wear a knit skirt, because the thing about, Kate, I need you to stand up just for a second. I just want your body.
Okay, here it is.
Okay. When people think about wearing a skirt, they think about, oh, it's going to hug my butt and it's going to bag out when I sit. No, it doesn't. First of all, if you make a pencil skirt that hugs your body all the way down, yes, it's going to hug your body and look incredibly freaking sexy. But the skirt that Mary had on had a little bit of an A-line, which means that it actually is very slimming, because instead of going around your butt, it goes down in an A-line shape. And the same thing with your stomach and your thighs. It creates that upwards V look. I know you don't, that's it, Kate, okay. Thank you. I just needed a body for that demonstration. But you don't think of a skirt as creating an upward look, but when you have a wider hem and you go down to your waist, that's where the eye is going, up like that, and it creates that that line. And because it's an A-line, it doesn't hug the butt and it doesn't hug the stomach. So I can wear a knit skirt. You can wear a knit skirt. And believe me, if you wear a lot of leggings or yoga pants and you I almost think you need a skirt
It's
over
so
it.
warm,
And
too.
it's so darn warm. You will love it. You will absolutely love it. Tops of your legs, the back of the butt.
Yeah.
It's just so warm. So watch for that. Be adventurous. Join us and see if you don't look good in a skirt too.
Gosh, I might have to join that class.
I know, you definitely do. I might have to make it a requirement.
Okay.
Okay, so pom-poms. Everybody, oh, look at this. Everybody says, what the heck are these and how do you use them? Even people have bought them, that have bought them and own them, are scared of them and afraid to use them. Come on, let me know. Is that you? Do you have them and you've never used it, or you haven't been able to figure out how to use it? Well, I'm here to tell you it's not that hard. I'm going to show you how to. And they really do make a perfect pom-pom. So when you get them, they come like this, all right? And it's no real magic. There's a little lip on the white, and when you lift that, it opens it up in pairs. So there's 2 of them, like that, 2 sides. And then the middle has that little metal post between the 2. That all stays together. This is how you want it to look when you're ready to start making a pom-pom. And I am just going to reach down into my bag because we're gonna do a window of pom-poms. So we've been making white ones and show you what a perfect pom-pom looks like. Just like that. So you just need yarn, and you need the pom-pom maker, and you need the sharpest pair of scissors. This is leftover. This is all leftover yarn. Look at that. I love the way this color came out. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So this is a multicolored yarn like that. And if you want to get really adventurous, which I always do, if you go on YouTube and look for Flynn Knit, F-L-Y-N, I think it's N-I-T or K-N-I-T. She does a lot of hats, but she does a ton of pom-poms, really creative, wonderful pom-poms. And she has a tutorial on how to make a heart. And of course I used yellow instead of red, but there's also another company, I think it's a Chinese company, that's doing a lot of pom-pom art. So these are really fun. They take a little bit more effort, but they are fun to do as well. So it doesn't matter what size yarn you make. Okay, so Eileen says she had one and it took a while to figure out. It does come with instructions on the back of it, but I agree, Eileen. Even I looked at the instructions and I was like, wait, are we doing 2 at a time? Do we do 1 at a time? Just what is it? Well, you do 2 at a time. So you open it up so that it looks like this. Obviously, I have a relatively thick yarn here. The thicker the yarn, I want to use the bigger pom-pom maker. And it comes all the way down to this size. And actually, can you dig that out, Kate? Yeah. I made one using both of those little sizes. Is there one even smaller than this? Yes, there is. So this is the almost smallest one. And that is the smallest one. Oh my God, is that not so cute? I mean, if you ice skate, don't you want little pom-poms on your skating ties?
I just went ice skating last week. I should put some on.
You definitely should. That was the big thing. Remember that, Eileen? When we went skating, we always put pom-poms on our skates.
What a difference of size.
Yeah. And I don't think that's even the largest one. So you get 4 in the package. 1, 2, and 3. And I don't have another hand. 4. That's the smallest size right there. Okay. Open it up. There are markings on the pom-pom maker, just little ridges. I don't think you can really see it in here. They don't really mean anything. You don't have to worry about them until you get to the artsy-fartsy ones. Then you might pay attention to how much you wrap. But I'm just gonna start it by holding it with my thumb, holding the end, and then I am going to start wrapping. And the thing is, you want to kind of wrap evenly all up and down. Okay, I'm a little bit off balance here now. Let's go this way. There we go. Now you can see it while I do it. All the way across into that little corner. Woo!
Wow, how'd you do that?
Oh, it's yarn. It's the natural state of yarn. Grab anything and everything. All right, so I am just going to wrap back and forth at a relatively even tension, filling the pom-pom maker. Now, the real trick to this is to fill it as much as you possibly can, because that's what makes a really big, really thick, really plush pom-pom. If you just cover that plastic one time, it's not going to have that real thick, dense look to it. I fill it until I'm almost even here at the bottom. This little guy escaped. So when it's almost straight across, then watch these scissors. Whew!
Nice.
I'm known for not having scissors that cut anything. When that side is full, you then fold that piece down, and the blue is going to hold all of those wraps right there. Now we go to the other side. That's this piece. And we do the same exact thing. Doesn't matter if you hold it this way or if you hold it this way. It doesn't matter if you start in the middle or start at the end. It doesn't matter if you're wrapping in the opposite direction. As long as it gets filled with close to the same amount. Some of those smaller ones, I actually counted how many wraps I did on each side, so that each half of the pom-pom was going to have the same number of wraps. So I'm just going to keep going until I have filled this one up to the very thickest possible part. I think the hardest part of this is the pain it's going to create in your shoulder. Okay, done. So this part, this half now is filled. So I'm going to cut that and fold that in. So now you have this really neat little almost donut-like shape. And you have these little slices, these little openings right here and right here. Those are your cutting guides. So now what you want to do is take the sharpest pair of scissors you have. When you have thick yarn and maybe you have big scissors, your temptation is, your desire is to just chomp away. It doesn't work like that. It's much too thick to just cut them all. So all you're going to do, can you see? I've got the scissors right in that space. And I'm just going to start clipping away. I think these are upside down. There we go. Clip away at all of them. I may need several pairs. Yeah.
It's just at the tip of the scissors.
It's just at the tip of the scissors.
Let's try all of them. Oh.
There we go. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the way it should cut. Just a few at a time, but nice and smooth. And you can see right here, right there, that's the ridge. That's where the scissor goes, so that you cut at the same spot all the way through, and it comes out all nice and even. And you just want to make sure that you have cut all of the folds all the way on that side. And then we go to the other side and do the same thing, starting right down here at the opening in the ridge. And we're going to cut away. Oh, Kate, keep these scissors separate.
Okay, I will.
Because they're perfect.
Pom-pom scissors.
Pom-pom scissors, we need an identifier. All right, so now we have both halves cut. Now I need to Oops, that's a pom-pom.
They're everywhere.
Now I need to cut a length of the same yarn that I have left. You could use different yarns if you needed to. And this is going to be the middle tie. I'm going to put that right between the two halves. It goes right into that ridge. It's not a ridge, it's a ditch. Right into the ditch. And I pull it nice and tight. Now the trick to this is, Kate, can you hold that up like that? The trick is that you don't want to use a weak yarn to tie the middle because you really want to be able to pull on this. So I have folded it through the ridge. I'm going to pull nice and tight.
Oh my gosh.
And then go up again.
Very tight.
And now I'm just going to tie a regular
She's pulling really hard on that, yeah, guys.
Yeah, really hard. And a knot.
All right.
Okay, now I have nice long tails. This is what we use to attach the pom-pom. So now at this point, my pom-pom is pretty much done. I just need to un whatever. So I'm gonna lift those white things. Oh,
You like release
like
them.
that, release them.
Yeah.
Just like release the Kraken and release them. All right. And now we pull those two pieces apart.
Look at that.
Where that metal thing was.
Oh, I see.
And we're not done yet. We give it a good shake. And we have a weirdo pom-pom. This then, Kate was so proud because I'm saving all of my clips. This is all the stuff. I don't need this
No.
or this. This is all the shavings from the pom-poms that I made. And it's a mess. It's a messy job. So you want to have some sort of, basket, or, in this case, we're going to save all of our trimmings. And this is the best part because this is the most fun, is to give these things a really good haircut. That's where we're going to get rid of all of those ends that are sticking out. And we're going to even everything off.
Hold it up a little higher. So do you just cut the longer ones first?
I just start trimming around it. I mean, I watched a couple of specialty videos where I thought they were going to cut right down to the knot. They were trimming so much. You don't really need to trim that much. Just overall, you're just doing this by eye. When does it look even? And especially with thick yarn, it's going to seem a little lopsided because the middle part is really, really thick right in the middle. And so those ends end up being a little, see that?
So cute.
Now it's starting to look like a nice round ball. The middle part is so those ends are gonna be a little bit longer. And I didn't count the wraps, and so I think one half might have had a few more than the other. But look at that pom-pom.
And
That's gonna go on this hat. Just like that. Thank you. Cute. So you can use, I've seen a lot of people asking about, excuse me, what to do with their ends. Not necessarily ends, but their little balls of leftover yarn when you've made something. Hey, hi Linda. Combine them all. Use them all up.
I've seen that.
You've
It's so
seen,
pretty.
such colorful pom-poms. This Flynn knit that I mentioned, she even uses the tails. She'll just like half wrap a tail around just to get the color in there. So pom-pom makers are worth their weight in gold as far as I'm concerned once you know how to use them. We may have to put in a special order if you don't have one and want to try one. We've got a few sets in, but I will need to order more. And we've got these here, so if you want to come in and make a pom-pom, we'll help you do it. All right. Okay, that's it for today. I'm in class all day tomorrow. Part of January is my taking a deep dive into the coming year and deciding what kinds of special events and things we want to do, what worked and was successful last year, and what we want to continue. So I'll be doing a lot of that this next week. And I got to go because, yeah, we got some stuff to do this afternoon. So bye, everybody. See you next week. Thanks for joining us. And hey, go knit something.